right, good evening. It is 6:31 and we are calling the Town Council Committee of the Whole regular meeting to order on November 25th, 2025. We have roll call, we have all present. And as we know, Councilor Rusk is no longer our councilor, she's the mayor of the city of Groton. Up next, calendar and communications. Councilor Merritt, do you have anything you'd like to share this evening? Anything you'd like to share this evening?
I received a phone call earlier this evening about Mystic Oral School and eminent domain, and I explained to the caller that I also had put in remarks about eminent domain in the town for the roundabouts especially. I'd like to know more about that. And nothing else, really.
All right, thank you. Councilor Bordelon.
Thank you. First, I just want to wish everyone a nice upcoming holiday season. If you celebrate Thanksgiving, I hope it's an enjoyable time with your friends and family. I guess for me, what I have for communications, I did watch the personnel and appointments meeting. I wasn't able to see how many people were in attendance. None of the names were announced, not even the elected officials or people on standing bodies or committees. But I definitely was tuning in because I never received, there's never been any town council discussion. There was no report as to where the chair of the Personnel and Appointments Committee received the referral. Did it come from Mr. Good, the new member for his first meeting, or was it from Mr. Jones? Where did that come from, or was it from a counselor? And if it came from the town manager, John Burt, or the attorneys, it would have been great. I mean, as a counselor, I didn't even know that that was coming. So definitely have more questions there. Definitely received like 20 to 30 emails of letters of concern, phone calls, text messages asking, about these rules changes. And unfortunately, as a counselor, I wasn't able to answer those questions, which was very concerning to me. Also, my concern, as soon to be my fourth term up here, I currently still sit on no standing committee. We have 9 counselors up here. Usually the mayor is not on a committee, and usually each counselor is on a committee, maybe not the one they want, but at least one standing committee, unless they choose not to be. And as of today, I still stand on no standing committee. I also found it very interesting to note that personnel appointments meeting ran with the new member, Mr. Good, who just took a seat not that long ago and got appointed over me.
Point of order.
Your point of order?
Counselor Good, please.
Thank you.
Sure,
Good, please,
Counselor Good.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
that committee ran with the chair, Mr. Jones and Mr. Counselor Good. Why wasn't I
Counselor
Point of
Jones.
order,
Counselor
Counselor Jones.
as
Sure,
well.
Counselor Jones. Still ran with a vacant seat when it seems as if, why would they not have placed me on that committee? It was open at the time. So I find that to be concerning, that there's counselors up here. We're duly elected at large, and we have a right to serve our community that's elected us, and yet we're not filling seats and having 2 counselors run a whole personnel and appointments meeting without having any form of opposition, just kind of almost like the rule had fallen from the sky. I mean, I'm just appalled. So with that, this is our, and it's the week, the week of Thanksgiving, and we're changing things in the dark of night, in my opinion. So this council is going to be reseating new counselors on December 2nd, and was there an urgency in this? I'm not sure. If there was, I would love to know from the town side, why is this such an urgent thing to push through, and why did we not put at least another member of our body on there to deliberate on these findings and changes? Thank you.
Councilor Pacino.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. With all that said, happy Thanksgiving all. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and that's all I have.
Thank you. Councilor Jones.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I attended last week the POCD meeting. I don't know whether this is the final meeting, but it was one of the public meetings with boards, and lots of citizens were there to express views on all the different changes that are coming on that committee, on that report, which is a state-required report that's generated every 10 years, and it guides the town in its future directions. It is still open. You can go onto the Greater Groton, Greater Groton website and voice your thoughts and views on the POCD. last week, we had, helped along with Councilor Good, the United Way Food Bank with the city of Groton. This was the largest food bank that I've ever done. I've been doing these now for a number of years. We had 400 families that came to this food bank, and it has been steadily growing over the last 3 months, since reflecting changes that are going on at the federal level and changes of hunger that are in our community. I had one woman who came to me who said she would not have had Thanksgiving if she hadn't had this food. So for me, as a counselor, that's probably one of the best things that's ever been said to me. So we're always looking for volunteers and anybody who wants to be involved in helping feed people. There's once a month, and we also have a pop-up food bank at the Thrive 55, which will be every 2 months. So I'd also like to thank Mayor Franco for being our mayor for the last 2 years. Thank you for your guidance and friendship, leading us through a lot of great successes that you did. I appreciate it. I think the town appreciates it, and we've done some tremendous things as a council. And I just want to thank you personally for being the mayor and being able to work with you. And good luck in retirement.
Thank you. Councilor McBride.
Thank you. I attended the library meeting on 11/13, also attended a library meeting last night where the council will review some of the recommendations of that committee. I did attend the No Ink informational session on 11/20. I did watch the video, the planning and the POCD that Councilor Jones mentioned. I was not able to attend, but I did provide some feedback. Also want to wish the Fitch football team good luck this Thanksgiving. They'll try to get the sword back, and if they win, they'll get into the state playoffs. So I'm hoping they can pull off a victory for Fitch. And I've also received, as other counselors have indicated, over 75 emails, texts, and phone calls related to questions and comments on the policies that we'll be discussing later this evening. And I'll talk more about that at that time. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Good.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I received a lot of the same communications as my fellow councilors. Also, I'd like to just bring up that last week at the Bill Memorial Library, New London Homeless Hospitality Center had an informational talk and conversation about the state of homelessness in our area, how legislation affects that, especially the latest legislation on housing, and what we as residents in the area can do to help. I just want to give out their website if anybody is interested in volunteering or just finding out more information. It's nlhhc.org. Thank you, that's all.
Thank you. Councilor Parker.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I attended the library meeting as well as the No Ink information meeting. It was nice to see a lot of residents come out and speak for both sides of what's going on for the Main Street reconstruction. And you have to forgive me, my voice keeps going in and out because I'm getting over an illness. That's all I have to report right now at this time. Oh, wait, I'm sorry, I'm going to take that back. Would it be possible, Madam Mayor, if we could have a moment of silence for Representative Kevin Bryant?
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. All righty. Well, good evening, everybody. As this is my final meeting as the mayor of the town of Groton, I want to keep my remarks brief but meaningful. Serving this community has been one of the greatest honors of my life. And while leadership is temporary, the work we do together has a lasting impact. Over the past 8 years, the town council and our staff have achieved a great deal. We advanced responsible housing and redevelopment projects, including new multifamily housing that will support our workforce and strengthen our tax base. We secured grants and state partnerships to move forward, improved wayfinding, numerous infrastructure upgrades, enhanced passive and active community recreation, enhanced community safety initiatives. We built multiple schools, brought forward an athletic field master plan and referendum, and so much more, all with careful stewardship of taxpayer resources. We also made significant community investments through federal funding and lawsuit settlements, supporting local services, future infrastructure, facilities, and organizations that directly benefit our residents. These accomplishments weren't mine alone. They were the result of collaboration from this council, from our dedicated town manager, Mr. Burt, our town staff, and from our residents. To my colleagues, thank you for the hard work, the debate, and the shared commitment to Groton's future. To our town employees and volunteers, thank you for your professionalism and your heart. And to the people of Groton, thank you for trusting me with this responsibility. To my patient and supportive family, you know all too well that serving on the town council and being mayor is very time-consuming. You have rearranged schedules and sacrificed. Thank you for being understanding and being by my side every step of the way. I love you all. Although I am stepping out of this role, I remain part of this community, and I look forward to seeing Groton continue to grow and thrive under new leadership. Thank you for the privilege of serving as your mayor. It has truly been an honor. And as tradition holds, I also wrote a letter to the incoming mayor that I will leave in the drawer. And we will be moving on to approval of minutes. Counselor Parker, would you like to take that?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I make a motion to approve the Committee of the Whole special meeting minutes of November 12, 2025. I so move.
Second.
Moved by Parker, seconded by Good. Anybody have any changes or corrections to the minutes? All right, seeing no hands, we're going to take a vote on the 2025-1091, November 12th, 2025 minutes. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? That passes 8-0 to 0. Up next, new business. 2025-1066, Board of Ed, Kindle Foundation Farm to School Grant Program.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Clint Kennedy. I'm the Director of Technology for Groton Public Schools. I have the next item as well, and there's busy schedules this week and travel plans for the holidays and so forth, so I'm going to take a shot at both if you don't mind. Would you like me to do a brief overview of this current one, or are there questions? How would you like to proceed?
Just a quick overview would be good, thank you.
Sure. So Ernie, our Food Services Director, wrote this grant. We're very excited to have received it. It was presented to the Board of Education, which passed it as well. As you know, you are the next step in that process. So 3 things really that it will do for us in brief. Funds will be used to expand the processing kitchen in order to preserve and store all farm fresh produce, giving students access to delicious, locally sourced food all year round. That's number 1. Ernie and his team will also construct 8 new school gardens, renovate the current ones, and install an additional greenhouse, second piece of this. And the third piece is there will be additional educational signage for the gardens and the new farm-to-school lessons to be added to the curriculum and school activities K through 12. So that, in general, are the kind of the main components of this, as I understand it.
Okay, thank you.
Can we get a motion?
Yes, I'm sorry. Counselor Good, would you like to make the motion, put the motion on the floor?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move to recommend a resolution approving the Kendall Foundation Farm to School Grant Program in the amount of $100,000 and to refer to the RTM per Rule 6.5.3.
Second, Jones?
Moved by Good, seconded by Jones. Do we have any comments? Counselor Bordelon?
Thank you. I'm a big component of this program because I feel like, they say teach someone to fish, you can feed them forever, the whole saying. I feel like this farming thing for the kids is so good for them to learn. Not everybody has land that they can grow their own fresh vegetables on, and some maybe have never been taught them. So I just think it's great. Questions I have that people always ask or ask me, is this going to need this money being funded to utilize any new positions that you need to hire?
Appreciate you asking. I asked the same question. A portion of the funds will be used towards continuing and expanding the current farm-to-school coordinator and the processing kitchen manager positions. These positions have been supported traditionally and currently by a combination of grant funds and food services department funds.
Okay. And these funds, if you're not able to get them the following year, how will you supplement to keep this program going, like, that's partially funded?
Excellent question, and I don't have an answer for you.
Don't have an answer. Okay, can you report back and have them?
Absolutely.
Is it
I'd be
just-
happy to have somebody with better knowledge of this particular grant get back to you.
Right, because I just want to see, is there a cost, so there might be a cost savings in the food service with this offsetting, and where would those funds be moving in this next coming year? As the board identify those and kind of have a plan for them? Or or what is the plan in the next year if these funds don't come in? Are you preparing for that in your upcoming budget? I just want to see, and again, just curious on how you're going to offset that is all.
Fair enough.
Thank you.
All right, seeing no other hands, we're going to take a vote on 2025-1066 Board of Ed Kendall Foundation Farm to School Grant Program. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? That passes 8-0 to 0.
Thank you.
Up next is 2025-1067 Board of Ed Community Wi-Fi Grant. Counselor McBride, would you like to take that one?
Yes, thank you. 2025-1067 Board of Ed Community Wi-Fi Grant. I'd like to make a motion to recommend a resolution approving the community Wi-Fi grant for Groton Public Schools in the amount of $131,565 and refer the item per RTM Rule 6.53 to the RTM.
Second?
Moved by McBride, seconded by Bordelon. Counselor Jones?
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Oh, did you want to, I'm sorry, did you want to give a synopsis on it first?
If you don't mind.
Yep.
I wrote
I'm
this one, so
sorry.
I know it a little better. So this is a round 2 for the Connecticut Education Network Community Wi-Fi Grant Opportunity. We submitted jointly with the town for round 1, which we were able to get, and that is in motion as we speak. This is round 2, which was designed to provide community Wi-Fi across the grounds up here on the hill for both the high school and the middle school. So there will be external Wi-Fi access points that'll cover the full external footprint from baseball field to football field to parking lots through the overall turf field over across to the GMS campus. It will also allow for trenching of fiber optic cable to connect between the two schools. So we have redundancy, which I'm hoping will be used for disaster recovery and potentially some cost savings in the future. So it's a good opportunity to do both those things. As you are all well aware, we did pass a referendum recently that impacts the school fields and so forth. Once that passed, I did reach out to the town and got a very rough kind of overview or timeline for that. This grant is use it or lose it by end of June 2026. And I don't mean to misspeak, but my understanding is the referendum work will most likely not start until after that as far as shovels in the ground. So my commitment is to fully coordinate with those activities to make sure that we're not stepping on toes and this doesn't become an issue, but adds to the overall, benefit of what's trying to happen with that.
Great, thank you.
Sure.
Counselor Jones?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you, Mr. Kennedy, that's great. Can you just talk about a little bit, this runs through June 2026. How long is it going to take to install this? And then what do you see about its lifespan?
Sure. So we have met with some preliminary, we're going to follow the purchasing process and so forth, but as we were getting quotes to how this is going to work, we've missed the window for asphalt to be repairing any trenching that we do, so we'll most likely have to wait for shovels in the ground for early March. But once equipment can be purchased and gotten on site and configured ahead of that, so if we started early March, there's no reason to believe we can't have this fully done, buttoned up, tested, and ready to go by the beginning of April.
Okay. And,
Sorry, you did have a second question, forgive me, I don't.
yeah, no, well, the first question, you already answered the first question, was just about it. It's an odd number, 131,565. Is that just how the equipment added up that you need?
Yes, exactly. That's cost of equipment, installation, et cetera, all in.
Okay.
You did ask the lifespan for this, forgive
Lifespan,
me.
that's right.
I see no reason why this can't last at least 5 to 7 years, if not longer.
Okay.
Obviously, there could be upgrades and so forth. The major expense is not the equipment as much, which is easily changed, obviously an expense to purchase new, but it really is the trenching, and we're overbuilding the number of fiber lines between it so that we have capacity for the future should we need it.
And the primary user of this will be students, or will it be staff on?
All of the above. It can even be used by community members during weekends and summers and things like that. We can control that. We control how that's accessed and so forth. One of the things that we always struggle with is we have a wonderful promotion ceremony on the fields at GMS, and we're streaming live to hundreds and hundreds of parents. So this will help us without having to set up a makeshift private network to make sure that that gets out accordingly. As one example of something we struggle with.
Okay, all right, great, thank you. And thank
Sure.
you for continuing to pursue grants like this.
We're trying, so.
Counselor Borderline.
Thank you. So the vetting for the people that are going to be doing the work, did you go out to bid? Did you?
We were just given the grant, so we're following a Board of Ed approval, waiting for you guys, then RTM, and then we will follow the purchasing procedures and so forth for that.
Okay. And are you guys seeking any union workers for this? Do you guys do that in part of your?
To be termed, that would be part of the process that we come up with following approval.
Okay, yeah, I just think it's always great when we can to look into union workers. So it'd be great to hear back on how that process goes. And then,
Certainly.
are you following has there been any new policies based on the recommendations in the audit to, when looking at, people to hire? Are you guys following that new procedure, or is that not in place yet?
To my knowledge, it is not in place, or at least hasn't come to my attention as of yet.
Okay, all right, yeah. Again, equal and fair access, again, just like the one before. We take for granted that, not everyone has Wi-Fi access, so I think this is wonderful. I have seen this done on other campuses and colleges and things, and it is a safety also thing where, folks can, access, if their phone doesn't have service, they, like phone service, they have internet service, so they can get on and chat or say, ask for help or, access things on the grounds. Also with the intercampus activities that you guys do with the middle school and the high school, and some students taking classes over at the high school and walking over, I think that's also, very helpful. So I just appreciate you guys going out for grants. And maintenance and costs, once this infrastructure's in, it's kind of a hard fix, I would assume, right? So there's not.
The only time we would have to touch it if there are certain issues, whether those are natural or other, so.
Okay. And this number, because you guys, if you haven't gone out to bid, where did the number come from?
That was the best number I could come up with based on my discussions with vendors on what this theoretically would cost.
So vendors, okay. And so you have to stay within this number. Was there a cap for the grant, or where did the grant range come from?
That was what we asked for. I do not have any budgeted additional dollars for that, so my plan, should it be approved, would be to stay within that as a hard cap on the total cost of the project.
Okay. All right. No, I think it's a great thing, and if it's not really, costing indirectly the town, and it's opening up and expanding our capabilities, I think it's wonderful. So I appreciate that.
If I may, Councilor Bordelon, the point you made about safety, this does allow us to have lower cost and more devices potentially in the future for safety, as opposed to purchasing devices that require a cellular license or account, if you will, which obviously those costs can accumulate quite quickly. So it's a good point.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. And I think, again, giving people the fair and equal access wherever they can. So it's a good thing. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I'm not seeing any more hands. We're going to take a vote on 2025-1067 Board of Ed Community Wi-Fi Grant. And thank you for coming forward with all these grants. Wonderful.
My pleasure. Thank you all.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? That passes 8-0. Thank you for being here. Up next is 2025-994-1, the Noank Main Street reconstruction, setting a public hearing. Counselor Jones, would you like to take that one?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Item 2025-994, Noack Main Street reconstruction, setting a public hearing. Motion to recommend a resolution to set a public hearing for the Noack Main Street reconstruction project on Tuesday, January 6, 2026 at 6:30 PM. We don't have a location on this. Where would that be?
Mr. Byrd, the location? In this room. Okay. You want to say that?
In the Town Hall Annex.
Second.
Okay, moved by Jones, seconded by Good. Mr. Burt?
Yeah, as mentioned, we had a public input meeting last week for this project. The council had indicated they wanted to hold a public hearing. Following our standard process for timeline, this would be the date we would use, but please be aware that the Public Works Director does retire the week before. So once we get through this, there might be a bit of a gap before it goes on to further discussions.
And this is going to be at a town council meeting, is that correct?
Correct.
All right. Counselor Bordelon?
Thank you. Thank you for this. I appreciate, you know, you taking into consideration, as we heard from many. I think it's important to have public hearings, no matter what side of the project you're on. I think it's always important to bring it forward here to the government body and have it fully articulated and people allowed to voice their concerns. With that, can you just describe how the platform will be? So this will, well, let me start. This will be posted in the newspaper, I'm assuming?
Yes, we will post it in the newspaper and get it out there as widely as possible. Social
like
media,
social
website, that type of thing.
Okay, so our Facebook,
Correct.
the newspaper, the town page, GMTV.
Yeah, it's right part of our meeting.
Okay.
Do you mean in advance? I could talk to Sean about that.
That'd be perfect. And then, how long will people have to speak, so they're prepared?
Whatever the council wishes.
I mean, I think that's important. I mean, if I was preparing my speech, I would want to know how long I had to defend what I was for or against. So, I know there was no time changes to public hearings, to my understanding, so that's why I wanted to ask. I got a lot of questions about that. So that's my question. How would people know how to prepare with the holiday coming in January 6th? What is the time that they're going to be given? Is it 2? Is it 3? Is it 5? Like, what's our current rules state for public hearings?
I don't think, Mayor, do you recall if we've changed the public hearing? But either way, what I would do is once there's a new mayor sworn in, I would check with the mayor.
Yeah, because my understanding, we never changed it. So when I looked back, I saw 5 minutes for public hearings. That was never changed. It was only council meetings. So I would assume if this is the date that this is being done, they would have 5 minutes. Would that be understood?
As far as I know.
Yeah, I would think we'd have to basically follow that because we have nothing else to go off of. So, okay, and it could be anything about the main street that they can speak about.
Correct.
Okay. Is the developer going to be here as well?
No, we were asked not to have the developer
Okay.
here.
So no developer, and town staff are just going to be listening. I mean, it's just their chance to kind of say yay or nay, or will there be a presentation before showing the streetscape and what is being proposed?
No, there will not, for 2 reasons. One, the we've been asked not to have the developer there, and we won't have the existing Public Works Director. It would
Yeah.
need to be one of them.
Well, I mean, I guess somebody from the town could just give an overview and read what has been presented thus far at these other meetings, right? With the slideshow or something?
We'll take a look at it.
Yeah, because
No
I think
promises.
with most public hearings, people want to see, and that stuff should also, and maybe a press release to the paper about what's being proposed, not just the hearing. That's what I usually see for other towns. If a hearing's coming up, they also do a press release, show the sketches, all of that, so people are kind of fully aware, again, if you're for or against, to make sure it's fully out there. So that would be my hope to see. And that's just from communication from folks in the community that I've heard from. So, all right, so I would look forward to hearing more and hoping that we can have either some boards up here, and something up on the main screen, and making sure it's posted in all of these locations, as well as honoring the 5 minutes that used to be our public comment, since it was never changed for hearings. So that would be the expectation, I think, of the community from what I heard. Thank you.
Mayor, I'm sorry.
Mr. Burt?
One thing we'll do when we post the information out, we'll put links out so you could actually see the presentations. I'm not sure I would want to give the presentation. We'll see where we're at with Public Works Director, but if the council truly wishes a presentation, I'm going to have the developers come, so.
Counselor Parker?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I believe at the last,
Sorry, engineer's not, folks.
sorry, at the last hearing forum, info session, a lot of people had given them some ideas, and I thought the developers were going to take their ideas and implement it on the new plans. So I'm not sure if that will be ready in time to be posted, besides what was discussed, because there was a lot of good ideas that people brought forth. So I don't know if it'll be a full plan, it'll be a draft plan. I just want to let the public know that. Thank you.
Well, just to mention, there's no changes yet to it. They collected more questions and concerns, and they'll be studying those. And yes, I do not know if that information will be ready to go with the holidays here. But I will find out.
Thank you. Counselor Bordelon?
So then, my question, I guess, if I was concerned about this, then I would draw me to the next thing. So this would be great as a preliminary hearing, right, to just speak about what we have thus far. But if we, I'm not saying invite the developers if that's not the wishes. I'm just simply saying, if there's been suggestions that have been made, what are we talking about then? Are we talking about the old plan, the new plan, the possible plan, what people want? Because usually, when you have that, you kind of need some kind of idea. So if there's been suggestions, but they haven't been implemented yet, then it sounds as if you probably are going to need another meeting after that. Would that be the thought?
Oh, I'm sure there'll be more meetings.
Okay.
The last 2 meetings have been the exact same plan. That's what the public hearing would be on.
All right, so you'll at least post that plan in the newspaper and
Yes.
on our website and all of that everywhere as the current plan that's drafted. So people would be speaking to that current plan.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
All right, seeing no other hands, we're going to take a vote on 2025-994-1, knowing Main Street reconstruction, setting a public hearing. All those in favor?
Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? That passes 8-0. We're going to recess our committee of the whole meeting.
Madam Mayor, before we recess, well, my question for you, why would we recess when we don't have any other
Maybe an adjournment for this.
adjournment? But I do have other business, Madam Mayor.
Okay, go, since I haven't actually called for the vote, go right ahead.
As this is your last evening, we wanted to, microphone, this is not going to work. We want to present something to you on your last evening. 8 years.
8 years.
8 years. We did it.
Thank you.
So, I don't know if you want me to read it, or you want to read it?
You can read it.
Okay. The plaque says, Town of Groton Town Council, in recognition of her distinguished service to the Town of Groton, serving 8 years on the Town Council, with the last 2 years as mayor. During her tenure, she helped achieve numerous positive contributions to our community, including the construction of 2 new elementary schools and a middle school, securing funding for the renovation of Sutton Park, and passing a referendum to construct a new football and track stadium and related facilities. The Town of Groton extends to Mayor Rachel Franco its sincere appreciation for her service. Thank you for a job well done, and best wishes for all your future endeavors, presented on November 25th, 2025.
Thank you so much. Thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you. Well, I wasn't expecting that. Thank you.
Okay.
Very nice.
Now I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, I'm sorry. I have a motion to adjourn by Parker.
And
I didn't hear a second.
Second, Pacino.
All right, motion by Parker, seconded by Pacino. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? That passes 8-0. It is 7:05 p.m. We are now moving on to our Town Council Special Meeting Agenda, November 25th, 2025. It is 7:05 p.m. All right, this Clerk Melendez.
Here?
Here.
Jones,
Here.
McBride,
Here.
Merritt, Parker,
here,
Pacino,
Here.
and Mayor Franco.
I am here as well.
All in attendance.
All right, we have up first is our consent calendar. 2025-1095, November 5th, 2025, special meeting minutes. And we are moved on to Counselor Pacino. This is in the packet that was handed out to us, correct?
Yes.
The packet that was handed out to us and left on our table? Would you like to read mine?
Same thing. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Sure.
Item 2025-1095, November 5th, 2025, special meeting minutes. Resolution accept the town council minutes. Resolved that the town council special meeting minutes of November 5th, 2025 are hereby accepted and approved.
Second. Jones?
Moved by Pacino, seconded by Jones. Does anybody have any comments for changes or corrections? All right, not seeing any hands, we're going to take a vote on 2025-1095, November 5th, 2025, special meeting minutes. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? That passes 8-0. We are on to new business. Up first is 2025-1063-1, various appointments, reappointments, November resolution. Counselor, this would be Counselor Jones. Are you going to take this one?
Yep.
All right,
Yes.
Counselor Jones, I want to bring it back to you.
All right. Item 2025-1063, various appointments, reappointments, November resolution. Resolution making the following appointments, reappointments to authorized agencies, authorities, boards, commissions, and committees. ABCs, resolved that the town council appoints the following individuals to the authorized ABCs as noted. Reappointment, Tammy Dela Cruz to Citizens and Police Committee. Reappointment, Bruce Falcone to Citizens and Police Committee. These are full. Reappointment full, David Hume to Citizens and Police Committee. Reappointment full to Karen Morton, Citizens and Police Committee. Reappointment full to Randall Ortega to Citizens and Police Committee. Reappointment full to Dana Parfit to Citizens and Police Committee. Appointment full, Hannah Walsh, Inland Wetlands Agency. And appointment alternate, Robin Volpini to Inland Wetlands Agency. So moved.
Second.
Oh, my goodness. All right. Moved by Jones, seconded by Good. Counselor Berlin.
Thank you. Through the mayor to the Personnel and Appointments Chair, were there any other applications that were not, voted on that night?
All applications that were in were put onto the agenda and were voted on at the time of the agenda.
Are there any current applications that have been submitted that are waiting to be decided?
You'll have to ask the town clerk.
Okay, through the mayor to the town clerk, are there any new applications that you've received that,
There is one that's going up for the next meeting.
and do we know whom?
That is not on the current business right now.
Isn't this the time where we're allowed to talk to the chair about questions regarding personal, or should I add that?
No, that is typically under, when we do chair reports, this is the actual various appointments and reappointments that are listed right here.
We always talk about any other things under that section. So
That's usually under the chair report.
Usually he gave the report, he just gave it. So I'm asking questions.
No, this is an agenda item to appoint these various appointments. And if somebody's possibly coming in the future, doesn't pertain to the people listed here.
I mean, usually, I guess my thing is, in the past reports, I guess, they would talk about.
This isn't a report. This is an actual motion on the floor to pass these.
Right, but it's resolution resolving the following, so asking if there's any other applications that weren't considered.
Yeah, that was the answer, but
Is
if
pertinent.
somebody's coming in the future, it doesn't pertain to this.
Okay, so you're saying we can't ask any okay, so, okay, so there was stated there was no other applications at this time that did not move forward.
No other applications.
And based on the potential new policy rule that we've already been kind of using already, were there any that you just chose not to take up an action on?
All applications were moved forward.
So there's none sitting that just you didn't decide not to vote on at all?
Nope.
Okay. And I think those were my main questions on here. All right, that's all I have for now. Thank you.
All right, seeing no other hands, we're going to take a vote on 2025-1063-1, various appointments, reappointments, November resolution. All those in favor?
Aye?
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? That passes 8 to 0 to 0. Up next, 2025-1066-1, the Board of Ed Kendall Foundation Farm to School Grant Program Resolution. This is on page 3 of our packet. Counselor Merritt, would you like to take that one?
2025-1066, Board of Ed Kendall Foundation Farm to School Grant Program Resolution. Resolved that the Town Council authorizes the Groton Public Schools Board of Education to accept a grant for $100,000 for the Kendall Foundation Farm to School Grant and to refer the item to the RTM per Rules 6.5.3. I
Second?
so move.
Moved by Merritt, seconded by Good. And as usual, we discussed this in our committee of the whole meeting, and now it is at our town councils to pass it fully. All right, seeing no hands, we're going to vote on 2025-1066-1, the Board of Ed Kendall Foundation Farm to School Grant Program Resolution. All those in favor?
Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? That passes 8 to 0 to 0. Up next is 2025-1067-1, the Board of Ed Community Wi-Fi Grant. This is on page 4 of our packet. Counselor Parker, would you like to take that one?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Resolution authorizing accepting a community Wi-Fi grant, whereas the Board of Education approved acceptance of the community Wi-Fi grant, and whereas the grant would be used to provide outdoor Wi-Fi primarily to the 3 athletic fields and surrounding area located adjacent to the Groton Middle School. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Council authorizes the Groton Public Schools Board of Education to accept a grant for $131,565 for the community Wi-Fi grant and to refer the item to the RTM per Rule 6.5.3. I so move.
Second.
Moved by Parker, seconded by Good. All right, seeing no hands, we're going to take a vote on 2025-1067-1, the Board of Ed Community Wi-Fi Grant Resolution. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? That passes 8 to 0 to 0. Up next is 2025-1005-1, the Board of Ed GEA Collective Bargaining Agreement Resolution. This is on page 5 of our packet. Counselor Good, would you like to take that one?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Item 2025-1005, resolution approving the Board of Education and General Education Association agreement. Resolved that the Town Council approves the agreement between the Groton Board of Education and the Groton Education Association for the period of September 1st, 2026 to August 31st, 2030. So moved.
Second, Parker.
Moved by Good, seconded by Parker. Counselor Bordelon.
Thank you. I know this was discussed before in a previous meeting. I do have concerns. Obviously, I'm going to be in support of this, so it moves forward. But I do think that seems like there was more of a compromise than it was, fully what everybody necessarily wants. But it's something, I do have concerns with, some of the items in here. I think the negotiation for teachers and staff and the other things that are in here could be better. I have concerns about the medical negotiation. I have trouble with the high deductible plans, especially for staff who are not making a ton of money. Educators are not usually 6-figure staff employees when they're starting out in their first 15 to 20 years of working, and I just have trouble swallowing the fact that we're putting the burden on our teachers who are our frontline workers with our most vulnerable folks in our community, which is education. Education is the foundation for which all things come from, and I just think that we should support our staff in a more wholesome way, and I sometimes just, I don't know, I'm not part of the bargaining agreement. It comes to us saying either vote this and we have a deadline, and if we don't, then it's going to go to arbitration or this or that, so we don't really have much teeth up here other than to say yes, usually. But with that, and the people who do sit on this board, I encourage them moving forward to really advocate strongly and make changes to support our staff. Our teachers, I think, are vital. They produce our police officers, our elected officials, they produce teachers and engineers, healthcares and doctors, and I just think there's just not enough teeth in these contracts really supporting. So I look forward to seeing some better contracts coming before us to support our Groton teachers. But again, here we are, and there's not much more we can do other than to vote it up as it was stated by the town manager. He would recommend us voting for this because they don't want to go back. Wish there was a way that we are brought in earlier, that we're not just handed a package, you know, as I say, at the 11th hour and said, you know, if you don't vote this tonight, there's nothing else you can do. And that's tough. That is tough. And not all counselors sit on it, so there, you get the voice of one up there, which is not the voice of all. So I think that that should be rotated as well. I think there should be more input from our council, you know, and there's not. So there's some things that can improve. I did watch some other meetings and speak to some other towns and see how they do theirs, and there's a little bit more of town council involvement with more than just the same member on that committee. So with that, I've heard from many teachers, many paras, many things throughout the community in general, and I just think that we need to protect our most vulnerable, and that is our teachers. Thank you.
Counselor Parker.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As the one who sat on those negotiations, just a reminder that this went between the Board of Ed members and the teachers' union, and they both had their attorneys present to go over these contracts and make a decision. I was an observer. I have no input. Just to let everyone know, this is between the two contracts. And this also went to the Board of Ed, which was approved by the Board of Ed to come to us. So the teachers' negotiations, if I remember correctly, it goes back to the whole entire group like it does to the Board of Ed, and they ratified this contract. That was between the two. I'm just an observer at this point. And that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Counselor McBride.
Thank you. I'm in support of this, but as some may recall, I did have some questions when we discussed this that I didn't feel were answered exactly. I think in the future, when the Board of Ed or anyone provides a contract, I'd like to see the full contract to the council so they can review in detail, because there were some questions that I think went unanswered. So I'm in support of it, but I think it was a quick process. I think it was under 2 months that it was reviewed, which I've never seen a 2-month union negotiation happen so quickly. So I think in the future, this council, I'd like to see if I'm here to get the detail of the contract to be able to review it versus a one-page summary. Thank you.
Thank you. Counselor Bordelon.
Yeah, and to that point, thank you, Councilor McBride, for your, you know, your comment, because it brought me back to that night. One of the things I was asking is for it to be projected on the screen. Nope, nope, nope. We didn't get the paper until before. We didn't have it. They said, oh, it was emailed to us, but it was never in our original packet. You know, the salaries and numbers that we were looking at weren't, the previous years weren't added in the packet, but like if you're making decisions and you're trying to look at things, it's important to see the previous years, those weren't in there. So these are suggestions that I know that were brought up, and I just hope that in the future that is done. I also do think if you're going to email it, it should also be in our hard packet as well, since, you know, most people don't bring laptops and can't pull up the information, and then we asked for it to be projected and it couldn't, and then it was. I just think the process could be a little bit more smooth and a little bit more transparent in the future. So people had a lot of questions and those numbers were not there. Again, I'm full support of it. And to Councilor Parker's point about yes, so sometimes in negotiations, it's not what you want, it's all you could get. So just because it was approved doesn't mean it was the consensus. Many things in life we succumb to and we agree to despite getting what we want because it's all we can get. So it doesn't mean that it's the best contract that it could be. So it doesn't mean that there's not improvements there. So I just hope that we can seek to look at better ways. And if it's just an observing position, I hope we can get some more observers in there because I think it'd be beneficial to have more council members there. So I guess my question to the mayor, to the town manager, can other councilors be selected? Why is it one? Why do we never change that position? How do we get more observers in the room?
I believe it's state act that it's one, you're allowed one person, then it's up to the, I believe the mayor to appoint that person.
Okay, so that's another appointed position on top of the standing committees that are available. Yeah.
Council Bordelon, that has nothing to do with this topic.
Yeah, it does. I was asking about how do we,
Standing committees has nothing to do with this topic.
I was asking her
Standing
about,
committees have nothing to do with the topic of a bargaining agreement. It's a collective bargaining agreement that we are voting on.
maybe you're not hearing me correctly. What I was
I
stating
heard you
is,
correctly.
we're talking about how this is voted on.
I understood.
And
I
what I'm
understood
asking
clearly.
is
I
that there's a
understood
seat
clearly.
available.
I understood clearly.
Okay,
Thank
and I was
you.
asking how other counselors can get on
I'm
there to
asking you to
observe.
stay on topic. Thank you.
I am on topic. I'm speaking about this item where one counselor was allowed to attend, and I was asking if more counselors could attend, or is that number hard fixed? I still haven't got the answer to that question.
I believe I said, I think it's one.
You think it's one? Can you get back to us on
I
that?
have to double check.
Yeah, let's look into that. Thank you. It's never been told how many. It doesn't have a number on there.
Per state one.
To be honest with you, I don't know what a representative from the council sitting in on, as a viewer, has to do with us passing a collective bargaining agreement. The motion on the floor is the actual agreement at this time. It's not about who is sitting in there.
If I may, with my little 52 seconds and counting, I think it is important. I think transparency and openness and accessibility is part of like knowing the contract. Year after year, if you're there, you get more information than.
Councilor
so-
Bordelon, that is not the topic on the floor, though. The topic on the floor is Board of Ed GEA collective bargaining agreement. If you would like to bring forward processes, you can put a referral in to have that as a topic of discussion.
Sure, I will. I just
Thank
was
you.
talking about how one gets there and then we're told that there's not much we can do and it's already this and it's already that. And I was just asking, how does other counselors get involved at an earlier point? And I think it is germane to the topic since we're talking about a contract where only one counselor is allowed to visit and be present. So, thank you.
Councilor Merritt.
Yes, without furthering this issue too much longer, I think we should be advised as to where we stand on getting involved in contract negotiations. Because you have two parties negotiating a contract, and a lot of that stuff is information that doesn't come out to the public or other groups. And plain and simple, the contracts I've negotiated, there was no outside, I won't call it interference, I would call it, well, might as well call it outside interference. Because you're going to wind up in arbitration and say 9 times out of 10, the arbitrator will vote in the favor of the union, shall we say, as one of the bargaining parties. And I believe the rate is still $2,000 a day for both parties until the agreement is made. And the agreement will be made by the arbitrator, not the town and not the union. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, seeing no other hands, we're going to take a vote on 2025-1040-1, update to the non-union terms and conditions. I'm sorry, excuse me. The 2025-1005-1, Board of Ed GEA Collective Bargaining Agreement. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions. That passes 8-0 to 0. All right, up next, 2025-1040-1, update to the non-union terms and conditions. And this is on page 6, and Councilor McBride.
Thank you. Item 2025-1040, update to the non-union terms and conditions resolution. Make a resolution approving the updated terms and conditions of employment for non-union employees of the town of Groton. Be it resolved that the town council approves the updated non-union terms and conditions of employment with the terms effective as of the applicable dates.
Second.
Moved by Good, McBride, seconded by Good. All right, seeing no hands, we're going to take a vote on 20, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Joe.
Did you have your hand up?
I did.
Councilor Pacino.
Can Counselor McBride read the last whereas? Because this is where the council made recommendations and there were changes that they added.
That would be included in the resolve.
Yeah, but it wasn't read, and it wasn't read at the last meeting either because it didn't exist in the last meeting.
I was just following protocol. We haven't read it.
Oh, I understand. I fully understand. That's just a change to what we had from the last meeting.
Would you like to just, it's your turn, so you can mention what was changed.
I'll be glad to.
Go right ahead.
The last whereas in this motion is, whereas the town council made several recommendations at the November 12th, 2025 Committee of the Whole meeting that will be included in the final document, including adding mother and father-in-law to the funeral service section, adding in the requirement for the town manager to also approve carried over annual leave above the standard amount, and the clarification that a team member may attend an in-state or out-of-state or online higher education program as long as it complies with the approval process. Now therefore be it. Then the result. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, seeing no hands, I'm going to call for a vote on 2025-1040-1, update to the non-union terms and conditions resolution. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions. That passes 8-0 to 0. All right. Up next, 2025-521-10 Pleasant Valley Purchase and Sales Agreement. This is on page 7 of our packet. Counselor Jones.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. 2025-521 Pleasant Valley Purchase and Sales Agreement Resolution. Resolved that the town council hereby approves the purchase and sale agreement and authorize the town manager to sign and execute the final document with Spinnaker Real Estate Partners. So moved.
Second.
Moved by Jones, seconded by Good. Counselor Bordelon.
Thank you. I'll just say what I said before about this. In reading this document, I have some concerns, and it doesn't necessarily fit the needs of what I feel would be the best document at this time. I look forward to seeing some changes or see how this pans out over time, and maybe my support will change. I have heard from the community, and in general, they're concerned about development on that side of town, and a lot of it. Also, some concerns that I highlighted is that originally when we went out, we were looking for an affordable housing component, and it was only going to be a small % of houses for that development there. But the amount of the tax incentive, we could have bought everybody a home. So it really wasn't going to be a cost benefit. It almost makes sense to save that money and invest it into helping people become first-time home buyers and things like that. Really, and then at the 7-year mark, and I might be speaking wrong, was it 7 years through the mayor to the town manager? The contract would end and the people who were there and the affordability all of a sudden could be forced out if it's not re-implemented. So with that, the fact that there's no affordability in this contract, it's going to be more expensive, high-end houses, in my opinion. This is my opinion, I speak for myself. It doesn't fit what I feel is what our community needs. So therefore, this will not have my support tonight, and I seek and hope that maybe some other things like environmental changes and other adaptive things will come into place that can draw me in. But without having an affordable housing component, I see the community suffering overwhelmingly, and I can't, as a mother of a son who's a petty officer here in the town of Groton, he wants to live here, he lives here, he serves his country, he can't afford these apartments, and that's a concern. I keep hearing over and over, if we build these big infrastructures, then maybe people that are getting older, like myself one day, might move out, and it will help open up the doors. I'm not living on top of people in high-rises by the highway and spending $2,500 a month. I'm just not doing that. And many people I spoke to aren't going to do that either, so they're not going to vacate for these apartments. Also, I have concern where I feel that our town, we can say we need more housing. I'm hearing affordable housing, not high-end dense housing. They keep saying we need it for EB employees. Not everybody at EB makes 6 figures. We have janitors there. We have laborers that are not making those monies. Therefore, it is imperative that we're building housing that can support our workforce and their demand, as well as our upcoming youth that want to stay and reside in Groton. I'm running out of my time, so I'll take my second turn in a minute. But what I'm saying is there's something here that's not right, and my heart tells me I can't support it, and I'll wait for my second term.
Councilor Bordelon.
Thank you. And again, this is, for the record, nothing against the developer, their quality, who they are. It's simply just the idea of the style and what is being proposed to be built. It should be affordable. People are getting maxed out of their own town, and that is just a concern. So if we're truly building it for workforce like EB and our military community that's here, it's not affordable. And I just can't buy into the theory that's being put out that we need to do this in order to free up other housing so that folks then can start to move into those housing, and it'll unplug this clog that we supposedly have, and then it will make the apartment housing rates start to go down. I also have a concern from a conservation and an environmental standpoint, and important to speak up about the need. I want housing that's here that's affordable, but I want it to fit the tapestry and the lay of the land. It is vital that once we have land, you cannot get it back. Think about our natives. Once land is sold, you do not get that land back. I look at Ledyard. They had some land that was owned by the town, and what did they do? They brought in Habitat for Humanity. They were building duplexes and single-family homes. I don't know the exact number, but it might have been about 50. I could be wrong. If you Google it, you can find it. And it was just a local group building some organic grassroots housing, just like Ocean View in Mystic. When my family was growing up, that was affordable housing. That was lower middle-class housing that people could use as starter homes. That's what people are looking for. That's what's going to unjam the system. And we do not have that here. So this type of big, high-end, dense development, I can't see it. I've had friends' children come in from out of town. They come into EB and they look, and they're not wanting to live here. So we have to look at, yes, how many more people do we really want to live here if we can't support the people that are already on the ground? And I would love to get a survey of how many people that are living in these new places are new people coming in, because now we're just attracting more people that we already can't house. So we're not fixing the problem. The people who need affordable housing, the people who need houses that are trying to compete for houses to stay in Groton, they're not getting them because more people are moving in. So there comes a point when you have to say, do you really want to change this tapestry of this town? Or do we have enough? Maybe where we are, we're full. A hotel doesn't say, oh, keep bringing in more people to stay the night if they ain't got beds. Maybe we just don't have any more beds. Have we checked into our water supply? Can we support this? Will the future generation that's already here have enough vital resources to live on if we keep growing bigger and bigger and bigger? That is my concern. Thank you.
Counselor Good.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm just going to speak as a renter who has been dealing with sharp rent increases over the last 10 years, about 100% over the last 10 years in a lot of rent, my community and a lot of other communities that I'm involved with. There's something that's called market rate housing. That's all your housing for renters who have to sign every year, a one-year lease. Now, if the complex you're living in is over 92% full, that means your rent is too low, whether you can afford it or not. Most rental communities in Groton are over 90% full right now. Even the new ones, the new hotel that switched over to very small $2,000 a month apartments are full. 2, 3 apartments available next month. Triton Square, which everybody says nobody wants to live next to the highway for that kind of money, is well over 80% full, and they're not done in the parking lots yet. I encourage everyone to listen to the last Fair Rent Commission in May to see what renters are going through in Groton with no more units available as far as prices. Please do. Please listen to the last gentleman who spoke. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to just speak very quickly on this one. The federal government is not helping financially with affordable housing anymore. They're just not giving any more supplements out there. The tax incentive that would have been necessary to have 30 units for 9 years at what they call affordable would have cost the town very largely millions and millions of dollars. That the math just didn't compute, and I think it would be a much wiser decision to go with the market rate that they would charge, and we collect the taxes in full, and we can use, or future councils can decide to use that money to help people in our community, to help people who need help with their housing, who are struggling financially to survive. As I understood, Triton Square, the new building by the highway, is over 80% full. A conservationist, Mr. Stevers, had sat with me one time and had a discussion, and he said condensed housing is the most responsible, conservation-friendly housing. You are not sprawling. You are putting people in a small area. You are not utilizing the land, and you are keeping people together in one area to use most of the utilities. And I thought he was very wise when he said that. It is very easy to say, don't build housing in our community anymore, when you yourself have a home and you're not looking for a home. I read regularly and routinely of people struggling all the time to find housing. And supply and demand is a real thing, and it is not just here in Groton. This is a nationwide issue, and I don't think the answer is just not to build housing, to help people find housing. I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me. So while this is not the most ideal for affordable housing, the numbers did not crunch out right. It was eye-opening to see how much it would cost the taxpayers to give an incentive to 30 units for 9 years. And after those 9 years, those people who are getting that assistance would have to pay the full price, and they probably wouldn't be able to afford it. So it didn't make sense. It just did not make sense. So I'm in favor of this, and I would hope that a future council will decide to help use some of the funding that comes in from this to help other people who need it, oil assistance or housing assistance. So use the money wisely.
Point of information?
Your question?
Can we put a motion tonight that we would do that now as an agenda item?
No, tonight is signing the purchase and sale agreement. How to use future funds cannot be decided at this time.
If we suspend the rules, we could.
No, it's a totally different topic, and this is, we're in town council. It has to go through a committee of the whole. All right, so not seeing any other hands, we're going to take a vote on 2025-521-10 Pleasant Valley Purchase and Sales Agreement Resolution. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Abstentions. That passes 7 to 1 to 0. Up next, 2025-1065-1, Town Council Appointment Policy for Boards and Commission Resolution. This, hold on just a second here.
31.
This is in our packet on page 31. I'm going to have Counselor Pacino. Would you like to read? No. I'm going to actually have Counselor Jones take this one, although we just read the last one. This is his. Go right ahead.
Do you want just the resolve?
You could
or-
do the resolved, and yes, and we'll have discussion.
Item 2025-1065, Town Council Appointment Policy for Boards and Commissions, Resolution. Resolved that the Town Council adopts the Town Council Appointments Policy, Boards and Commissions as amended, said policy to be effective immediately. So moved.
Second.
Moved by Jones, seconded by Good. Counselor McBride.
Thank you. I'd like to make a motion to postpone this item until the December 2nd regular council meeting.
Second. I'm going to second that motion.
I speak to the motion.
Go right ahead.
My reasoning is that I believe I could consider ourselves, or myself as part of this council, as a lame duck council. Passing rules that will impact a future council should be made by the council that it will impact. Passing this now blindsides the new council members and does not allow them the opportunity to review and provide comments on rules that will dramatically impact their ability to legislate and do the job that the voters of Groton placed them into office to do. Furthermore, the Groton Town Charter and rules of the council have been established in a manner to conduct business with community input. Specifically, the community of the whole meetings and all the other committee meetings are purposely established to meet and review items and to make motions and recommendations to the council. These recommendations are publicly made and placed on regular council meetings. Such meetings provide for public comment so that the public can provide their thoughts and comments on these rules and motions prior to the final town council vote. Holding a special town council meeting without public comments erodes freedom of speech and does not allow Groton residents who voted us into this role as councilors to provide their input and opinion to these new rules. It is undemocratic and should not occur, and as such, I think this item should be moved to the December 2nd agenda.
I just want to check really quick if it is debatable. Adjourn, recess, question.
We have to be able to comment on why you switched to the most
Can you
competent,
please keep order in the galley?
suitable.
Please keep order in the galley.
We want competent.
I am
people.
warning, this is the last warning, I can clear the room. Please have order in the galley, because I can clear the room. Please stop. Please stop. I understand. Please stop. I understand.
Madam Mayor, clear the room.
Gee whiz.
Clear the room, Madam Mayor.
If we, I'm just going, to- I understand the passion here this evening, but if we have another outburst, I will clear the room and we will continue our business. All right, so let's see. Needs a second. It is debatable. So postponement is debatable and it needs a majority to pass. Counselor Bordelon.
We're speaking to
Postponement.
Yeah. So I just want to state that I wish I had said that. That was beautifully stated by Counselor McBride. And it was very fair, it was balanced, it was articulate, and it shared a lot of my concerns. I'm in support of the postponement for all those various reasons. I still haven't been told exactly where this rule change has come from. I was told tonight by Counselor Jones, the chair of this policy committee, that it was given from the town manager, and I'm assuming maybe it must have been seen by our town attorney, I would assume, I would hope. So with that, again, it was said lame duck, and here we are again. This is our last meeting, and it just feels not right. I feel that there was a process in which this should have been discussed. I feel that we should have had a chance tonight to allow people to speak on this. This is a first read. Usually things have edits. You know, I don't know how many times new documents, new rules. This never went to our rules committee. It was just kind of pushed in by 2 counselors and not even 3 on that committee. So with that, I feel it needs to go through a fair process. Honestly, I think we should allow public comment tonight since this is on the agenda. Why is there never a public comment when we just, you know, bypass and do special meetings and roll things through? Why does the special meetings omit public comment? So I guess to the mayor, to the town manager, do you know why that is?
This last meeting of each session of the council has always been set up this way. I shouldn't say always, in my time, it's always.
I think she's asking why is there no public comment when we
Oh.
have a special town council meeting?
That's been
That's-
past practice, yeah.
Yeah, so it's
Even
not really a
before our time. so.
Okay, so it's not it's nowhere in the charter that says we can't, right? So I think, you know, in full fairness, in moving forward, I look to seek the support of my council in moving this forward in the sense that we would add public comment if you're going to put special meetings on. I'm not a component of, at the 11th hour, doing these special meetings that bypass this and switch from there and recess into one and go into another. As it was stated by Councilor McBride, you're not allowing fair and equal access up here. People follow the process, and there's a process in which, if you're going to run this through, allow everybody to come to speak to it. If we have nothing to worry about, then let's get it on the table, let's talk about it. But to find it to be the first time I heard of it as a council member was the time that it spoke last week at a meeting. How have I had time to really read through these all and look at it as a first read? So it is imperative that we have a board, above board government that's open, transparent, and accessible to all. These rule changes, to me, it's vital that we postpone this to give time to talk about all of these items. There's a lot here. I love the rationale from whoever wrote these. It was said that the town manager would be addressing something about this tonight. I'd love to hear, and I'll wait till the next time to talk.
Silence, what is right?
Councilor Bordelon.
So
I am going to,
So
I think we're going to take a recess. It is 7:50. Recess, it's 8:07 PM. We have postponement on the floor. Just to announce to the crowd that if there is another outburst, I will be clearing the room. So just to make that very clear to everybody. All right, so is there any more comments on a postponement before we go to vote? All right. For a postponement, we need a majority vote to be in favor of it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, McBride.
Opposed?
Aye.
Aye. Abstentions?
Aye.
That fails 2 to 4 to 1. In favor are McBride and Bordelon. And abstention is Pacino.
We have 8 people. Madam
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, it's 2 to 5 to 1. All right, so that fails 2 to 5 to 1. McBride and Bordelon in favor and Pacino abstention. So we're moving on. The motion is back on the floor as read. Any comments on the main motion? Councilor McBride.
I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules and to allow the residents to provide public comments and feedback on these important changes to the personnel and appointments policy.
Second?
Mayor, we're in a special meeting, you can't do it.
You can't do
suspend
that.
the rules.
We can't suspend the rules in a special meeting. It's against-
Thank you for clarifying.
Point of clarification?
Your question.
So, I mean, since normal meetings that aren't special, there is public comment, and there's really nothing in our charter or anywhere else that, no one can seem to understand why. Why wouldn't we just let the people speak?
It is a special meeting. FOI says you cannot suspend the rules during a special meeting.
I didn't say suspend, I said just allow. We don't have to suspend. Why couldn't we just
That would be
allow?
adding to the agenda. We
How
can't
is it-
add to an agenda on a special meeting.
It'd be the same type of council meeting.
It is not on the agenda. Okay, the main motion on the floor. Any comments?
Point of clarification?
Your question?
I'm just waiting for the town manager to announce where these rules came. He said he was waiting for this agenda item.
Excuse me?
Through the mayor to the town manager, I thought he was going to announce where these rule changes came from. He said he was waiting for this agenda.
Mr. Byrd, did you want to give a synopsis on this?
Sure, be glad to. Over the last several years, questions have arisen on how to interpret the language of the existing board and commission appointment policy. I received feedback from counselors as well as our attorneys concerning these questions. While those of us who work regularly with the appointment process understand the intent of the existing rules and understand that past practices align with those rules as they were administered, the repeated questions make it apparent the language is not clear to all who go through the appointment process. In fairness to them, the wording is being recommended to be updated to head off any confusion. Having collected unsolicited input from various counselors, I worked with the town attorney to draft the language before you. The Personnel Appointments Committee members chose when to take up the language, and they chose the November 18th meeting. The changes, again, were done in conjunction with the town attorney as well as an outside attorney. And then just to note, the town attorney has advised that should the council want to proceed with making changes, she recommends keeping the new language as written. And again, the intent was, working with the attorney, was to actually keep current practice and not actually significantly change the rules, so.
Point of clarification?
Your question?
I just think for open and transparency, whoever worked on this should be named. Which counselors worked on this?
I didn't say worked on, had questions
Yeah, who
and gave
gave
some
feedback on
suggestions. That's up to them if they want to.
Or we just FOI it, right?
Sure.
I mean, why wouldn't you just say who's helping? So you're not going to say?
He didn't say helping.
They made suggestions. Which counselors made suggestions?
Mr. Byrd, do you have an answer
I
for
have
that?
nothing else to add.
Thank you.
Okay, wow.
Counselor Jones.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So I'm the chairman of the Personnel and Appointments Committee, and if there were no direct conversations about any of these rule changes, they're probably more just frustrations that we've had with some of the issues that we've had. Nothing in here has changed the practice. This is really just clarifying the practices that we've had over the last 2 years. I know people have talked about the year. That's, if you just look at the town council rules, that's section G. You'll see it written right in there. So we didn't change anything in that section. Many of the other sections is just sort of clarifying the language, but there's nothing that changed in here from where it was before. We've had, so we've kept the same the same practices that we've been doing for the last 2 years. It's just sort of clarifying it, making it easier to understand. So a lot of stuff has been interpreted in different ways, but the reality is that still would all stay the same. The one that has caused a lot of the emails, points brought out in the emails, is about best fit or most qualified. One of the best arguments, if I can borrow one, is we often have people that may be highly qualified for a position, but because of minority rules or other other rules that we have, that person isn't able to fit at that time. So it isn't that we're picking somebody of less quality, we're picking the person that fits into that position. We also get feedback from the town and how they work with that person, so, or a potential person. So it's, if we just put the person that was most qualified all the time, it doesn't, that person often can't go in because of, you know, conditions that are around them. So it just gives us a little more flexibility to how we choose people, because often we can't put the most qualified in because they're not in the right party. We have minority rules that we have to follow, and we're just dictated by the council rules that we have in place. So I can't think of anything else at the moment, but that's all for the moment.
Thank you.
Point of clarification.
Your question?
So it was also stated through the mayor to the town manager that, so this was the town manager, a few council's thoughts or recommendations with the concern of the language, the town attorney, and also an outside town attorney. Do you have their name?
Sure, Kim Bossy.
Out of where?
Kim Bossy.
Kim?
Our insurance appointed attorney.
Kim, can you spell that
Bossy.
last name?
Bosse.
Okay, Kim Bossy, and they're out of where?
I don't have the firm name with me.
We don't know where they're out of?
I forget offhand.
What
the
type
name
of
the
law
firm.
do they town?
Counselor
They're-
Bordelon, are you taking your time now? 'Cause
No,
this
I'm
is-
just clarifying my
This
notes.
is not a clarifying question. This is, you should, I think you should take your time now if you would like to ask.
No, I'm not taking my
about-
time. No, that was my clarifying question, who the attorney was. Thank you.
You've asked numerous questions, so that's more like taking your time.
I'm not taking my time now, thank you.
Thank you. Counselor Good.
Just something very quick. Counselor Jones mentioned most qualified. The qualifications for all commissions are, you must be a registered voter who resides within the town lines. Those are the qualifications required. Best fit makes a lot more available to us. Otherwise, it's just first come, first serve. That's all. Thank you.
Mayor. I looked up the firm. It's Karsten and Talberg.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, can
Karsten and Talberg.
you spell that for me?
Karsten and Talberg, Tallberg.
And where are they out of?
Rocky Hill.
Rocky Hill, okay, thank you.
Counselor McBride.
Thank you. I'm opposed to several of these changes. I'm going to focus on 3. Changing from the most qualified candidates to those who are the best fit. Are we really going to consider such a change? Think about what it means. Is Groton a second-class town that does not want the most qualified candidate? When the town hires its employees, whether it's the town manager, the chief of police, police officers, or any other members, do we want the most qualified candidates? Of course we do. Groton deserves the best candidates. The same goes for all the committee appointments. Do we really want a subjective term such as the best fit candidates in our policies? Or do we want the best for Groton by supporting appointing the most qualified candidates for all appointments? This change, in my opinion, is completely unacceptable, and anyone who supports getting the most qualified candidates should consider moving to another town that doesn't want the best for its town. Also in 4.71, let's talk about transparency and who's in charge. Is the Personal Appointments Committee Groton's legislative body who gets to determine what Groton residents who are going to represent the town of Groton on its boards of commissions? No, that's the council's job and one of its main responsibilities. To allow the P&A committee to take no action on an application to a Groton board or commission takes complete control from the town council to select who should be on the town's board and committees. It usurps the council's power to appoint residents to the boards and committees. If this particular piece of legislation is approved by the P&A committee, it can simply not act on an application, and as such, the application would be buried and never come to the full body of the town council. If this is approved, why even have the council review the P&A recommendations? Why not give the committee, which consists of 3, currently 2 councilors, the full authority to appoint members to the boards and commissions? Because by not allowing the council to consider all the applications, you are indirectly thwarting this very important role to the council. Third point, let's talk about the 1-year prohibition of reconsideration of rejected candidates. This, in my opinion, is absolutely ridiculous. Mistakes happen every day in life. Any council should be able to reconsider any appointments at any time, period. The council is the legislative body of the residents, who the residents voted on in such measures, including when errors may have occurred, to allow the council to do the right thing after such errors may have occurred. As an example, what happens if the residents voted in 5, 7, or even 9 new members to the council and they are being sworn in? This rule, if passed, would not allow the ability for these new council members to appoint someone who the previous council did not appoint. They would be required to wait 12 months until they could appoint this individual to a committee. This makes no sense, since the electorate voted in these new councilors to pass legislation, including appointing members to committees that they thought were the best candidates. This rule therefore eliminates the powers of the council and in effect violates the trust in the residents, since it does not allow the new councilors who are elected to act as they see fit. I'll continue, thank you.
Do you want to take your second turn right now?
Yeah, I'll finish, thanks.
Okay, go right ahead.
Actually, I'll wait, thank you.
Okay.
So,
Wait, I haven't called on you. Do we have any first-time speakers? All right, Counselor Jones.
thank you, Madam Mayor. So I'm just going to respond to 2 of those, the first one and the last one. So comparing committee positions to town jobs is not a comparison that works, because when somebody works for the town, they're not asked what political party they are, whether they're a resident or not. Those aren't qualifications that apply to committee positions. So a committee position, you have to fit into the minority rules, which is what Groton, how we govern all of our committee appointments. There has to be a certain number of Democrats, certain number of Republicans. That isn't a question that's even, I don't think you can even ask that kind of question in the town level. So the committee members come in under a different set of rules. On the second, or the last one, the year subcommittee, the Personnel Appointments Committee is the subcommittee of the COW, Committee of the Whole. And in our rules, in the town council rules, the 1-year period, which is something we use constantly, we use it all the time on decisions made, we have to follow the same rules that the town council follows. So when we make a decision here, we can't come back to it for a year. The same is in the subcommittee of the COW. We make a decision, we can't come back to it for a year. So we just follow the same rules. If you want to see where the rule is, just look at section G in the town council. You'll see it's very clear. It's almost just one sentence that says we followed that year. So all this, we've been doing this practice for, I don't know, forever. So, so those are the 2 rules that we follow so on those 2 things. So thank you.
Counselor McBride, I have your name written down for the second time. Would you like to take it now?
Thanks, I'll finish. Therefore, this last rule eliminates the powers of the council and in effect violates the trust in the residents, since it does not allow the new councilors who are elected to act as they see fit. This rule handcuffs the legislative body, the council, from doing one of their primary responsibilities, appointing to the ABCs. So I'm not in favor of these rules at all, and I urge the councilors to carefully consider the ramifications of these proposed rules and vote them down. I still think, and I appreciate your comments, Councilor Jones, but I still think the best candidates should be in our rules. And just because the designation isn't somewhere else in the rules doesn't necessarily mean it has to apply to the Personnel Committee, so I don't find that reasoning accurate. Thank you.
Counselor Borderline.
Thank you. Okay, well, it's news to me tonight that we're using an outside attorney, Kim Bossy, and a whole place in Rocky Hill, and now I find out tonight that a few counselors gave a few inputs, but we don't know who, I can assume who, and that, you know, the language with the town attorney, and the town attorney's not even here to defend their language. I also have concerns with the chair, Ms. Counselor Jones's thoughts on, he said something tonight that stuck with me that actually resonated. He said, well, it depends on if the people that are picked can work well with the town staff. That shouldn't be a qualifying factor. But I guess it is up here, because I suffer the same way. I still stand again on no standing committee because I was told by that very counselor that no one up here wants to work with me. So I guess it's going to continue on to boards and commissions now. That's not right. We all work with people we don't like or maybe would never break bread with, but we respect them, we uphold them, and work with ways to unify one another with our differences. We don't just eliminate them or pretend like they don't exist or change rules to make sure that they can't get on or have fair and equal access. You know what? Some of the best people I've come in contact with, I call friends, are people that I learned to love and grow with time and endurance, a chance to see something from someone else's eyes. So, I sit up here, and it resonated with me. I was told no one wants to work with me, therefore I'm not on any committee. I could be the most qualified. In fact, by the voters, they want me on that Personnel and Appointments Committee, and I'm not. It's sat vacant. So I feel like we didn't even do good service. We're not even following our own rules. We're leaving seats vacant when counselors could fill them. But because it's more, in my opinion, a popularity versus a qualified position, we have an obligation to fill positions, and it shouldn't be with who we think the town may work better with. If they're the taxpayer of the town and they want to apply, they should have every fair, equal access to that application than anybody else. A non-action is an action. To take on applications and just say we're going to sit on them, but yet we can't even fill over all of our boards and commissions as we speak today? What are we doing up here? What are we doing? And I just cannot believe this is what it's come to. And to say that it's different than town staff, no, I disagree also to Councilor Jones, that we are an elected body up here and we're considered town staff as well. And we're elected at large to do the people's work. And we fall under the town staff category. And we have D's or R's in front of our names depending on how we're elected. I'll wait to take my next turn after.
I'd like to propose a motion. On page 31, under numeral 1, to insert after the word shall, be the most qualified and the best fit for the position.
Second.
I'm sorry, under number 1.
Yeah, under 1, I would change the first line. It is the policy of the town council to appoint citizens to the ABCs who, in the discretion of town council, comma, shall insert, be the most qualified and then best fit for the position.
Second.
And I think I've spoken enough about it.
One second. So I have on here that the amended motion made by McBride, seconded by Bordelon, is to add most qualified and prior to best fit for the position. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to take a turn here. I want to make a few things clear. Councilor Bordelon has stated numerous times that she is not on a standing committee. I would like to say she is on the biggest standing committee there is the Committee of the Whole. We, as a council, excuse me, you do not have the floor.
Point of order?
You do not have the floor.
Point of order?
I do not recognize that I have the floor right now. We, as a town council, are not town employees. We are not. Only protections we have are from discrimination based on protected classes and sexual harassment, but we are not town employees. So to the topic on hand, I received many letters. I've read many, probably majority of them. I just got back from vacation, so I read as many as possible. But I'm going to tell you from what I've read, I've seen some things that just may not line up. This is government, and we are elected officials, and the appointments that we make to boards and commissions are political appointments. They are. They just are. These are not employees, and you should not have the same thought processes as you would hire somebody. This is appointing people, and it's government by the people, for the people. So when you put somebody on a committee, you want to say they're the best qualified, then you're going to be like, well, let me see your resume. So you know what? Maybe if you're not a lawyer, or you're not wealthy and could afford college, or maybe you're somebody who just doesn't have that kind of education, that maybe you shouldn't serve on a committee, that those people will have trump everybody else in our community. I don't agree with that. I just don't. I think you may be qualified, but you could also be a bully. You could harass people. Just because you're qualified doesn't mean you should automatically get on a position, because that does not represent our community. When you are best fit, it means you are somebody, as it's been stated, you're somebody who lives in our community and you want to serve our community and you want to do good things. And from my understanding, it is subjective. We don't have to pick the most qualified. You could be somebody who wants to do good for your town, and you have an interest, and you want to go on that committee. You know what? Parks and Rec. Should we just put on lawyers, wealthy people on Parks and Rec committee just because they have the most qualifications? Or should we get maybe somebody who is a coach, who doesn't have a college degree, who wants to serve on Parks and Rec? I mean, some of the things that I'm hearing tonight, I mean, our founding fathers had made it so that government could be by anybody. It's not supposed to be about qualifications and resumes. Councilor Bordelon.
Thank you for that. That was a good introduction to where I was going to go. It is important. There are certain, I guess, through the mayor to the town manager, aren't there certain things that require certain certifications to be on it or have an interest in? I mean, you just, on the state level?
Well, sometimes there's particular positions. I rarely see a whole group that requires anything.
Right, so there are some positions that have some preferred requirements.
Yeah, again, it's rare.
Okay, but again, I just feel that it is vital that we, and I can agree that it's important that people, who's defining the qualifications?
The elected officials.
Are you taking my turn?
How about you use a little decorum?
Wow. Okay. So it's, it is important to have qualifications, but it's also important to make sure you're being fair and accessible. People that have served our town that all of a sudden put their application back in under good faith to come back to continue the work and say that we are seeking new ideas and perspective randomly. When you guys talk about precedent, that was never done before. People serve our town in good faith, give up time, and all of a sudden they're blindsided and you just don't even act on their application. I think that needs to be slashed. I mean, can I throw another amendment on the floor? I also would like to take out, no action. No action is an action.
What section?
The one under section 2, take no action. That should be gone.
You want to remove the words,
No-
take no action.
Yep.
McBride will second that.
And my reason is, you talk about, making sure that we're being this or that. I think it's important that if someone applies, that they should have a response, why they're not being, we've done that always. We went with this person here or that person, for all the same things that you're saying. No action is an action, and it's not fair or democratic to completely just let people apply. Tell me how we're gonna fill all these vacancies if we're just gonna do no action. People might be afraid to submit their applications now under these rules. Whoa, I don't know, why am I gonna waste my time and fill all this out and then they're just gonna take no action? Just none at all, just let it sit there. The other thing I find concerning is, I heard that these rules are being changed to clarify. But it's also interesting because Mr. Pritchard and many other people, who's not a bully, he's actually a very kind, quiet guy who speaks very eloquently and very soft-spoken, but very bright and has served our town well. Does he not fit? Like, he just didn't get reappointed, and he has the minority representation. He was a completely different party. He fit all those other things. But yet we just don't
Thank you,
reappoint.
your time has expired.
I just think we
Your
can do
time has
better
expired, thank you.
up here as a council.
Your time has expired.
And we have an
You're out of order.
obligation
You're
to
out
our
of order.
community
You're out of
to make
order.
sure
We're taking a recess, it's 8:35. Order. We're calling the meeting back to order. It is 8:44, and we are calling our meeting back to order.
Where's Mr. Pacino?
As noted, we took a recess due to an out-of-order counselor. We are back on amended motion. Currently, it is amended to remove, take no action. Motion by Borderline, seconded by McBride. All right, I'm going to talk on a take no action. This is also not a new rule. This is something that has been done years ago. Actually, it was when a different political party held a majority of the council. They have also done this. It is not a new item. So to say we're changing the rules or we're doing something different is not an accurate statement. Take no action has been done, and it's been done for many, it's going back historically, it is nothing new. I also want to mention on the best fit and the qualified. Best fit and qualified are both also subjective. You could say my idea of what qualified is may not be what other counselors are qualified, or best fit is the same idea. Both are subjective, and but it also gives room for to choose somebody. Maybe they are unrepresented in our community to join a committee. Maybe they are from one committee is overrepresented by people that live in one section of town, and you want to give somebody an opportunity who lives in another section of town to serve on that committee. That side of town is underrepresented. I mean, so the best fit versus qualified, when I think of qualified, I personally think of like, what's on your resume? I don't think that's how you choose people to be on committees all the time. Of course, you do look at them. But I will say, when you are looking to fill positions, there are many factors that go into such decision-making processes. And no action, let's get back to that. When you have people sometimes that serve on committees for, good gosh, decades, and there are other people that may want to serve, but they've been there for decades, sometimes no action might give an opportunity for somebody else to serve on the committee. Have a new idea, new fresh ideas. And it's not something new. Other councils have done this way before my time as well. So, and when you look at what our rules are on the council, I just have to explain something. A standing committee, such as Personnel and Appointments or the Rules Committee or other such standing committees, they are an arm of the Committee of the Whole. They are supposed to go by the rules that are on the Town Council. They are an arm of the Committee of the Whole. That's why when things come out of a committee, they come straight to a Town Council meeting. They don't go through Committee of the Whole to get here because they are considered an arm. Would anybody else like to speak on this item? All right, we're going to take a vote on the amended remove, take no action. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
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 Abstentions? That fails 3 to 5 to 0, with McBride, Merritt, and Bordelon in favor. So we go back to the amended motion made by McBride, seconded by Bordelon. This is to add most qualified. Most qualified and on section 1 before best fit. Counselor McBride.
Yeah, it appears to me that it's likely that these changes are going to go through tonight. So I would like to state on record that I will be voting in favor of these when it comes to fruition, to allow myself to be on the prevailing side, to allow for a vote for reconsideration at the next council meeting.
Point of information?
Your question?
I just want to double clarify that, just to make sure. So if you're on the prevailing side of this vote, can you just define on how that will work through the mayor?
It's in Robert's rules about reconsideration and the process which needs to happen for reconsideration.
So I just want to double confirm through the mayor to the town manager that if you're on the prevailing side of this and it goes through, you can bring it back up for consideration right away. Correct.
It has to be at the next town council.
Oh, that's perfect then. That might change. Thank you.
Counselor Jones, did you have your hand up?
I have I have a question on Councilor McBride's motion. Could we add an or on the end of this?
Yes, or and/or?
And/or.
Yes.
So
You'd have to make an amended motion.
I'd like to make an amended motion to read, be most qualified and/or best fit. So just put the or in there.
McBride will second that.
Okay.
So you're adding most qualified
And/or. So I'm adding or
and
to-
slash or.
Yep. That's my motion. And I will support that.
So the amended motion is to add most qualified and slash or prior to the section that says best fit the
Yes.
position. This was made by Jones, seconded by McBride, is that correct?
That is correct.
Did you want to speak on your motion?
No, I think it just gives us the most flexibility. So that's the reason I added it. Just after thinking about it during the recess, I feel that sometimes we have people who are very, very, very qualified. And then we have other people, and we have appointed both sides of this. We have people with incredible qualifications who fit very well. And we have people who are just very interested in being involved in town government, contributing to their community. And they may not have any qualifications other than they want to be involved. And so they come in as an alternate position, they learn, they get trained, and then when they're ready, they move up when spots open. But both people we put both kinds of people in, and they both work extremely well. So I think being able to pick between the two, sometimes a huge resume, and other times just a huge energy to be a member of the community and to contribute to the positions. So that's why I want an or. That way we can pick either one, which is currently what we do. We do the same thing right now, so.
Point of information.
Your question?
So if I remember Robert's rules correctly, in order to put the motion of the floor to be on the prevailing side, the second doesn't have to be from the prevailing side. Is that correct?
I don't understand your
So
question.
at the next meeting, if Council McBride puts this back on the floor for discussion, the second doesn't have to be from a prevailing side, per Robert's rules.
I don't believe so, no.
No, okay, just that makes sense. Thank you.
All right, I'm not seeing any other hands, so we're going to take a vote on amended motion to add most qualified and slash or prior to the section 1 at the end of the sentence, best fit the position. All those in favor?
Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Abstentions? All right, that passes 7 to 1 to 0, with Bordelon opposed. We're back on to the first amended motion. I think that would be null and voided. Do you agree, Counselor McBride?
Yes.
You withdraw?
Yes, I'll withdraw due to the approval of the prior vote.
All right, now we are going to vote on the main motion with amendment.
Point of information,
Your question?
doesn't Council Bordelon have to withdraw hers for the postponement? Is that what you,
I think when somebody withdraws their motion, I'm not sure the second has to withdraw, but would you like to?
Yeah, I mean, if he doesn't want it there, I'll withdraw.
Thank you. Now we're going to vote on the main motion with amendment. I'm going to make a note here. All those in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
Abstentions? That passes 7 to 1 to 0. Up next, 2025-1076, the Library Funding Committee update and potential resolution. This is on page 33 of our packet. I thought it was. And there is also a motion that was left at our table on a separate solo paper. Counselor Park, you want to take a moment? Let's just give it like 4 minutes. We're going to give 4 minutes to clear the room for a quick recess. Excuse me. It is 8:56. Okay, it's 9:01, and we are back from recess. We are now on 2025-1076, the Library Funding Committee update and potential resolution. This is on page 33 of our packet. Counselor Parker, you chaired this. Would you like to read that?
Yes, I'll read the resolution and I'll explain and with some feedback. Resolution establishing a method of distributing funds to the Bill Memorial Library and the Mystic Noank Library. Whereas the Town Council created a temporary committee, the Library Funding Committee, to study funding for the Bill Memorial Library and the Mystic Noank Library. And whereas the Library Funding met and made a policy recommendation to the Town Council regarding the distribution of funding to the two libraries, now therefore be it resolved that the beginning in FYE 2028, the Town Council will set the permanent, I thought it was 2000.
Make it 27.
I'm sorry, yes, beginning in FYE 2027, the Town Council will set the preliminary allocation of funds according to the following criteria. Number of checked out materials weighted by .35 in the last completed fiscal year. Number of people served by the library programs weighted by .35 in the last completed fiscal year. And budget amount of the library in the current fiscal year weighted by .30. And be it further resolved that numbers reported by the Mystic Noank Library will be adjusted to 60% to represent the portion of their services benefiting the Groton population. I so move.
Second.
Point of information.
Your question?
Counselor Parker read 2027, it's in 2020.
It should be 27.
2027, okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, so, moved by Parker, seconded by Good. Do you want to give an update on,
Is that my time? Yeah, is that my time? Yes, you know what, I'm gonna make.
are we okay? Is the TV on? Are we broadcasting?
Well, that's not what controls the broadcast. That's controlled back there.
Okay.
But yes, this is on. It's just not showing anybody right now. It's recording, but it's superfluous. So.
Thank you.
Superfluous.
So we've had a few meetings, the committee met, a couple of times we had come up with some questions for both libraries. The next time we met was with the group, both directors, where one brought a presentation, and we had discussions throughout that meeting, and then we met as individual group with Mr. Burt to go over some way of doing the funding. Overall, I thought our meetings went well. There were several questions, and Councilor McBride and Councilor Good both had great questions for both libraries. My meeting minutes were available to everyone. They are also posted online, so if everyone wants to read those, as well as watch the live stream, the stream of it. We figured that the fiscal year for 27, please correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Burt, it would be 58% to 42%, but it's all based on what their number of checked out materials, their programs, and the current fiscal year from before. So it's reviewing 2026, as well as how many people have come into the library. We figured that this would be the best plan going forward, and this will be reviewed annually.
Okay.
Point of information.
Your question?
Is it 58% or 60? Because the
58 and 42.
58 and 42, 60% is because Mystic,
They self-reported that, if you recall, they also received funding from Stonington, and they've self-reported that approximately 60% of their customers or patrons are town of Groton.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand now. It's
Right. So you have to
Got it.
adjust their numbers to account for that.
40% is Stonington, 60% is Groton. Okay. Thank you.
Councilor
Yeah,
McBride?
just a question or point. The 5842, maybe I'm mistaken, but that refers to the 26 data, right? Yeah,
That's
the
current
change
data,
for
right.
27, it may not be
Whatever the current
5842.
latest data will be, it'll be adjusted by
So
that.
that was last year, so those fractions.
Are you
may
taking your
change.
time, or are you point of information?
Point of information.
Okay, thank you.
But I don't think we'll have new numbers before the budget cycle, because we're entering it now. So these numbers will probably stand for this cycle. Though if they have more, obviously we'll take them. I don't think they will. I think it's in FYE 25. Or calendar year, sorry.
Councilor Bordelon?
What was the overall consensus of the chair's, like, feeling on this new process? Were they, like, in favor of it, would you say, or was it kind of any opposition?
Are you, a
Through the
question?
mayor, whoever wants to answer, what's, like,
I
Because
can't
there's no
read
dialogue
any of
here.
their minds, so I don't know. They answered questions and gave their reports, but there was, their intentions are their own intentions. I can't read into that. They would have
Okay,
to
so like
answer that
usual-
themselves.
But usually when there's a change, usually there's, you know, if there's gonna be a significant change, there's some people that speak up about how it would impact and if it would be a good impact or a bad impact, like when you did the, you know, talking about like the ambulance, you know, and, you know, that, like, there was some type of like weigh-in and some kind of written statement from each side, you know, what they felt if it would be. I did get through some of the meetings, I have a couple more, but it's, you know, there was no direct answer of like, were they fully in favor or against this change? And if you don't have the answer, then you don't have the answer, but I just, I don't know if Councilor McBride has any thoughts on it?
Yeah, who do I go through? The mayor, the chair?
Councilor McBride, do you
Yeah,
want a quick answer?
Sure, I think their questions or concerns, this is my opinion, weren't related to the actual policy, the practice that we're coming up with. They were more concerned, in my opinion, of what impact it may have on their budget, you know, in the future. And we couldn't tell them this hasn't been approved by council. The council can change this as Councilor Parker stated, they can change. This is just a framework to start. So I think we tried to alleviate their concerns by stating this was just a beginning framework. But that was, in my opinion, their ultimate goal is it going to affect their budget? And I think we answered those questions fine. So hopefully that helps.
Madam Mayor, may I?
Councilor Parker?
I think they were looking towards us to make a decision, if I'm thinking correctly, because they didn't have a good idea, because they both do wonderful things for the community. And they knew that we were coming up with a process, and like you said, this could change next year. And I believe, are we in agreement with that? I would ask, if I can ask the other committee members, that was my impression, was that they were waiting for us to come and make a decision about the process of how to go forward. As long as it helped the community, their residents, I think they'll be happy with what the change could be.
If I may, this has no direct effect on dollars. It's just how we budget during the budget year. It's just a formula to be more equitable, or at least understandable to both libraries and to the public on how we decide how to fund these two outside agencies. It doesn't, they were concerned, I think, about how it's going to affect their dollars, but the amount they get is still completely up to the town council every year. This has no effect on that. Does that make sense? So there wasn't any concern about that. It's a process.
Yeah, I mean, and I think it would be helpful, like, to have invited them here to, like, speak to what their thoughts were on it, you know, just in the end, but is there a chance that they're gonna ever come back and, like, speak, like, they'd be invited to? Or is that-
They'll be at your next budget session, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'll probably abstain from this since I just feel like it's, you know, there's more investigation information, more needed from me, to, you know. I mean, this is a tool that could be used, so this is, you know, but I think there's definitely some more information to be had, so I may abstain at this time.
Are you all set? Yes. Thank you. Counselor Jones?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you, councilors, for doing the work on the library. This is similar to the other committees that have been put together for pilot funds and for the ambulance. I think we had great results out of those other two efforts to kind of codify and put in some kind of percentages and numbers that we can use to figure out how we distribute our funds. So basically, I'm going to support this, and I just thank you for going through the effort. This has been an issue in every budget season. We've had to deal with how we divide the money up between these two institutions, which are long established and well recognized in our community. So I think this is a great start, and as Town Manager Burt said, it's a start, and they can change as we need to and adjust it, but we now have something to work with. So I think it's a great effort, and we've been able to use this methodology on a number of our sort of confusing budget items. So, thank you.
All right, I'm going to jump on here. So can you explain to me that in a budget session, let's just say, and this formula is used, the numbers are going to come into the town, who are they going to go to?
Well, I'll set the initial numbers.
Okay.
And whatever the total amount you're budgeting for the two libraries, they'll break that up by 58 and 42 the first year, assuming those numbers, we don't get fresh numbers by then.
So when you take into account the number of checked out material, the number of people served, and the amount of, the budget amount of the current fiscal year, and they all have weights to them.
Right.
It comes into some formula. You're going to take the amount that would go to these libraries, and that's how they get weighted in.
Right, I take those weights, the final product of those weights being this time 42 and 58, and then simply whatever total amount, it gets multiplied for each one by those numbers.
All right. I think checked out materials and people served and their physical budget is a good way to come up with an idea, because I honestly sat back and I'm like, I don't know what they're going to come up with, because it's a very difficult one. It's a very difficult way to try and sparse this one out. I think fire pilot money was probably easier than this. And probably the ambulance funding, but I'm going to be in favor of this. I hope it works out, and I just keep an eye on it going on in the future. There'll be many people here that are experienced with this, and they'll just keep looking at it to make sure that, do we need to tweak something, or should this percentage be different? And with Councilor McBride here, with this calculating all his numbers and crunching them, he'll be right on top of it, I'm sure. But let me just tell you, I am absolutely so proud of the council for figuring out ways to fairly fund, as was said, the fire pilot money, the ambulance funding, and now the library. I mean, these were decades and decades of councils trying to attempt to figure out a way to fairly fund these budget accounts. And I think the council has done that. I mean, the council has done it. So the decision-making process in the future will not be based on emotion or feelings. It will be based on actual numbers and something to really put towards it to make a very wise decision on tough times when you're trying to figure out those budgets. And we all know that is a very long part of the budget, because everybody has a piece in it, and how their feelings are. So you're trying to take out some of the emotion and make it fair. And I thank you all for your work on this, and to do it in such a quick time. Thank you. I really do appreciate it. Great job. And I'm very happy that I think the council has done things that many councils before them could not. So good job. All right, seeing no other hands, we're going to take a vote on 2025-1076, Library Funding Committee Update and Potential Resolution. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions?
I'll abstain.
That passes 7-0 to 1 with Bordelon abstaining. Up next, 2025-994-2, Noank Main Street Reconstruction Resolution Setting Public Hearing. This is in our packet. On page 34, the last page. Let's see. Counselor Pacino, you want to take it?
Yes, Madam Mayor. Item 2025-994, Noank Main Street Reconstruction Resolution setting a public hearing. Resolution setting a public hearing for the Main Street Reconstruction Project in Noank. Be it resolved that the town council authorizes setting a public hearing for the Main Street Reconstruction Project in Noank for Tuesday, January 6th, 2026, at 6:30 PM, I presume in this room.
Second.
Moved by Pacino, seconded by Good. Counselor Merritt.
We need to put in the location.
He did. He said he presumes in this room. All right, so not seeing any other hands, we're going to take a vote. Excuse me, on 2025-994-2, Noank Main Street Reconstruction Resolution, setting a public hearing, and this is my last time I'm making a motion. Putting it on the floor for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions?
Motion to adjourn?
That passes 8-0 to 0. Motion to adjourn by Bordelon.
Second.
Second by Jones. You guys want to have anything else to talk about? I'm teasing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Abstentions?
Did you really? That should be an unanimous vote.
That passes 7-1 to 0 with Good opposed. We are adjourned at 9:17. That was a lot of business getting out this early. Good job, everybody. All right.